Aloha! Welcome to our Kasama Rum virtual tasting. My name is Andrea Christina Caymo. I'm the Vice Consul and Economic Officer of the Philippine Consulate General in Honolulu. We are so happy that you could join us tonight. We're going to do a very special event tonight. We're going to be doing the Kasama Rum virtual tasting. Kasama Rum is a small batch rum crafted in the Philippines. The company is founded by a Filipina who has set out to break gender stereotypes revolving around rum. We find it fitting to do this rum tasting during Women's History Month. It is a time when we celebrate women business owners who are making a difference in the world. I am pleased to introduce our host for today, Alexandra Dorda, the founder of Kasama Rum. Hi, Alexandra. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us all the way from Sweden.
Hi, Andrea. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate everything you've done to bring us all together today. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so we're so excited. So we're going to be doing a rum tasting and we're going to be creating also some cocktails. So I hope everyone has prepared your ingredients with you. So the Kasama rum box that you got would have all the ingredients that you would need for today. So have them ready. We're going to go to that pretty soon. But before we do that, we wanted to know a little bit about the people who's joining us during this stream. So if we could ask each of you to just introduce yourself briefly, tell us what's your connection to the Philippines? Is it your first time to be drinking rum? What is your rum experience? So maybe you could start off with our co-sponsor for this event, Mina, who is the founder of CIH Events. Mina,
Hi,
can you?
everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you.
hi.
I'm so happy to be here and drinking Kasama. I'd love to learn more about the product. So proud of our Filipina founder, Alexandra. I was born and raised in the Philippines and then moved here to Hawaii. I am probably, I don't know, I'm not a big drinker in general, but I do love Malibu pineapple. So I do love rum. And I'm excited to, taste the cocktails that Alexandra is going to teach us today.
All right. Anyone wants to share next? So this is like if you folks are not very familiar with the term kasama. Kasama means companion. So we want this event to be really interactive and we wanted to know more about the people who's joining us today. So if you could just unmute yourself or if you'd like to share your video, feel free to do that.
Yeah, it would be great to see some people. I would love to see the faces of the people who are joining if you guys feel comfortable turning your cameras on. Maybe I'll just give a little bit more about myself and my background and my rum experience. Oh, we have one person. Hi. So yeah, I started Kasama Rum. I first had the idea for Kasama Rum in the beginning of 2018. So it's been a long road actually bringing it to the market. But basically, first of all, I grew up in the industry. My dad started working in the industry when I was 2 years old. So I'm 29, but I like to joke that I have 27 years of experience in this industry because I really grew up shadowing him and following him around. And a couple of years ago, I identified this sort of gap in the rum market. I always loved rum, but I didn't feel like there was a rum that was sort of speaking to me. They all have pirates on them or sailors or, ships and things. And I just wanted something that was more modern. And then a couple of years ago, I learned that the Philippines is actually one of the largest rum producers in the world. And my mother's from the Philippines. She's from Quezon City, and we're sort of from all over Luzon. And I had this aha moment where I realized I could create the rum that I wanted, that I wished existed, while also celebrating the Filipino heritage that I'm so proud of. So that's sort of how we got to where we are. I was a rum drinker before, but I wasn't I wasn't a connoisseur by any means, because I think that rum is sort of a category that's been left behind. You know, there are lots of fantastic vodkas and whiskey brands, and tequila is certainly having a huge resurgence, but I feel like rum has sort of been forgotten about. And so my goal is really to bring fun back to the rum category. It's so great to see so many of your faces also.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, like I absolutely love what you're doing with this rum, and I'm so excited for everyone to try this later on because they're gonna be blown away. They're gonna love it.
Yeah. Does anybody else want to share a little bit about themselves and, you know, where you're from in the Philippines, maybe?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Tyler Dos Santos Tam. I'm part of the PhilPro program and do a lot of events in the Filipino community with the Consulate, with Chamber, a whole bunch of other groups. My grandma's parents were from Cebu, and my grandma's dad is from Ilocos Norte, some Ilocano and Cebuano, and Portuguese and Chinese and Spanish and a whole bunch of other things. Happy to be here. I am I enjoy going out with my friends. This will be a fun virtual replacement for going out to a bar.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Anybody else?
Hi, this is MJ.
Hi, MJ.
Hey, I'm sorry, I can't turn my video on. It's like midnight here in New York, and I'm in my pajamas.
Oh, wow.
No worries. Thank you
So-
so much for joining us.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm like first and foremost a whiskey drinker. I love whiskey. And you know, I kind of ventured into rums and other spirits, particularly like matured aged spirits. So I'm very interested with, you know, I got interested with Kasama, and I also run Chibundle. You know, it's short for Chibog Bundle, and we bring in, you know, foods from, yeah, specialty foods from the Philippines, and we curate them into gift boxes. So I'm also very interested with, you know, food and you know, like all the produce from the Philippines, basically. And I think that Kasama is like one really great example of the craftsmanship in the Philippines. And you know, it's very much in line with what we're trying to do with Chibundle. Yeah, and I'm also from Quezon City. Actually, I moved here to New York back in 2017.
Great.
Quezon City represent. I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone else who wants to share?
Okay, hi, I'm Alan.
Hi, I am Angelica. I'm from the Philippine Consulate.
I'm Grace. I'm also from the consulate, and we're here to support Andrea, our colleague, in this project. And congratulations, Alexandra, on your Kasama Rum.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining and for your support. We really appreciate it. I think Alan wanted to share something.
Can I just say I have the coolest bosses ever? Like, you know, like they're very supportive of all our events, and we're so happy that the Philippine Consulate is spearheading something like this. So yeah, thanks to my bosses. Yeah. Then Alan.
Oh yeah, hi. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut into you, Ma'am Angelica there and Grace. Yeah. So hi. Yeah. So I'm Alan. This is Alonzo, my son with his hair, and my wife, Attorney Rhoda. Yeah. So we're very active in the community here, the Filipino community. She used to be head of the FAUW. I used to be with this Philippine Celebrations Coordinating Committee of Hawaii, which is not working anymore, but we really help to promote the Filipino culture here. And I'm also on the radio. I'm on a KNDI radio here. I have a show Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And so does Attorney. Yeah. And we're from
Great radio voice.
Thank you. Yeah, San Fernando, La Union.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us with your family. It's nice to meet you all.
Yeah, that's literally the meaning of enjoying this with your kasama.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
there.
Well, I just want to go next because Alan Alvarez is a townmate. I'm also from San Fernando, La Union.
Oh, great.
Philippines represent.
Yeah.
So, you know, in the Philippines, we have rum and then we have, you know, this mainstream brands in the Philippines, but Kasama Rum here is kind of unique in its positioning, and then the way it's packaged. And I actually picked this up at the Bevmo nearby. So it's already in mainstream markets, but we are working also to have them more in other, mainstream markets, as well as Filipino stores here in the mainland. So congratulations, Alex. And
Thank you.
best wishes, Andrea, on your project.
Thanks,
Thank
Eric.
you so much, Eric. Nice to see you.
Yeah, like San Fernando, La Union, one of the best surf places ever.
That's
I'll
our
go next.
San Juan.
Yeah. So
Hi, my name-
my background is, if any one of you are interested, it's in Coron. This is where I grew up, and it's absolutely amazing. So I encourage everyone to go visit.
Okay.
Did you have-
I'll go.
All right,
Could you-
Rob. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Rob.
Okay. Hi there, Andrea. Many of you know my wife, Mylene. We're both entrepreneurs here in Hawaii, and we're in the medical, pharmaceutical, medical equipment business here. And this, I was just a last minute add-in because Mylene was supposed to do this, but I guess she had a double schedule. But I will tell you, I am very excited to see this. I didn't even know what this is all about until I opened the box, and this is good. I'm excited about this. I recently just I think it was just a year or less than a year ago. Was it like because everybody knows Bacardi and all that stuff, right? I was in the military, so I traveled a lot, drank a lot too. I don't drink as much now, but I still I remember many of those days. But recently I heard that Tanduay became like the #1 rum in the world, right?
Yes, it's
I
the
tell you,
largest
but look
in the
at
world
this.
by volume.
Yeah, but looking at this, I tell you, I mean, this, as an entrepreneur myself, and I'm all about the small, David taking on Goliath, man. I mean, you guys, this is definitely a good thing. So I'm excited to hear it and drink it and try it. So congratulations, #1, and I'm sure you will be succeeding here soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're so glad that you decided to join last minute. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi.
Martha, hi.
I'm Martha, and I'm a food writer here in Honolulu. And lately, I did a story recently on Filipino chefs, and ever since then, I've just been obsessed with everything Filipino. And I feel like, I don't know, and then I just got this email about this event, and I was like, are you guys in my brain? Yeah, I'm just super excited about it because I think you said that the Philippines are one of the main producers of rum, and yet I've never heard of a Filipino rum. So excited to learn about it.
Oh my God, you're gonna love this, Martha.
Kelly, he's just gonna help me drink it. So
Hi.
Good to have you both.
All right, Paul. I think Paul wants to speak.
Well, thank you very much. And well, thank you very much, Andrea, for giving us the opportunity to do this rum tasting. This is the first time I think for me, I've ever had this type of event. And anyway, for myself, and I see Ned Directo is also on the video, the Zoom. Anyway, Ned and I represent Filipino Chamber of Commerce and of Hawaii, and we're just pleased to be able to be here in attendance. And like the prior person, I didn't even know Philippines is a rum producer, and there's a lot of secrets I think that the Philippines has, like cashew. It produces cashew nuts, even also coffee, and there's like so many things that I think the world needs to learn about, and it needs to be marketed like this. So anyway, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I think you really hit the nail on the head. I think the Philippines does so many things that people in the world don't know about. And I think, to be honest, our problem is just that we're not good at telling our own story. You know, there's so much incredible talent in the Philippines. There's so many amazing products in the Philippines. Every time I go there, I'm blown away all over again by the talent in the Philippines, but we don't do a good job of spreading the word. And so that's really one of my main goals with Kasama, is to tell the story about Filipino craft in a new way. So thank you so much for Paul for joining us. Really good to see you.
Yeah. And we're so happy that you're doing this, Alexandra, creating this rum from the Philippines. Can you tell us a little bit more about the process of making the rum, and why did you choose to do it in the Philippines?
Yeah, so I'll start with why I chose to do it in the Philippines. I mean, like I said, I was like, I don't want to drink another pirate rum. That just doesn't resonate with me. It's not, you know, it's so irrelevant to me and probably to a lot of other people. And my background, I'm half Polish, half Filipino. My father has been in the industry for a long time. We actually own a vodka distillery in Eastern Poland. And so I was sort of like, I'd love to make a rum, but you know, we don't have sugarcane in Poland. Like, we don't make rum. How am I going to do this? And so when I learned that the Philippines is one of the largest producers in the world, I decided to create Kasama. And to me, it really is, the goal was twofold. So like I said, it was create a rum that I wanted to drink. And second of all, create, you know, a platform to tell the story about the Philippines to a wider audience. I think that really a lot of times we spend a lot of time as Filipinos talking to ourselves and amongst each other about how amazing the Philippines is, but I wanted a brand that could really go mainstream and could be sold in places like Bevmo and you know, be written about in mainstream publications and to, you know, to tell the story of the Philippines in a more modern way. So the way that the rum is crafted, it's, for those of you who don't know, it's made from sugar cane, so that you could either make rum out of molasses, which is sort of the byproduct of sugar processing. Kasama is actually made from freshly pressed noble sugarcane juice. So the sugarcane is sourced from the fields around the distillery. It's pressed, and then that juice is then distilled to make rum. So it's distilled in a column still. People always like to ask, is it a column still or a different type? It's a column still. And then it's sort of fermented. You add yeast, you start this process of fermentation, and then that mash is then distilled. And then later you add water and you basically age it. So it's aged for 7 years in ex-bourbon American oak barrels in the Philippines. And then we source it from there, and I actually bring it to my family's distillery in Eastern Poland, where we actually blend and bottle the rum. So it's, for me, it's very poignant to be able to connect the two places that I'm from in this very unique way, to celebrate both of my cultures through craft spirits. And I think it's safe to say that Kasama is the only rum in the world that's actually bottled in Poland. So and then from Poland, we ship it over to the United States to be enjoyed. And then, you know, it's made it all the way to you guys in Hawaii. So it's nearly a round the world trip. I like to say that Kasama is, you know, possibly the world's most well-traveled rum. It really has made it a long way from the Philippines to Poland to the US to you guys in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's like an exciting journey, crafted in the Philippines, bottled in Poland, and delivered to all of us here, including here in Hawaii. Can you tell us a little bit more about your packaging? Like, it's so pretty. Like, I walked to the liquor store, and when I saw it, I'm like immediately interested to know more about it. So can you tell us a little bit more about the packaging, the branding behind the Kasama
Yes.
rum?
So, sorry, there's a bit of background noise. I'm in a hotel, like in the lobby area. So yes, the packaging was created by, the whole branding was done by an agency in the Philippines called Sirius Studio. It's a creative agency that's based in Manila. It was really important to me that it be crafted by Filipinos, and really, you know, authentically Filipino in every way. And we really do try to celebrate the Philippines in our packaging, from the name, of course, which means together or companion in Filipino, to the stamps. There are stamps all over the bottle and the box that sort of celebrate the Philippines. They say mabuhay on them. And we also feature a lot of indigenous flora and fauna. And then, of course, there's the little, I'm just holding my bottle because there's also the little Philippine sun that's on the neck. So we really wanted it to be a celebration of the Philippines in every way and the Philippine lifestyle as well. And it was really important to me. I'm so glad you said, Andrea, that it really stands out on shelf. That was a huge goal of mine. You know, as a small independent brand, I don't have, you know, $20 million for a marketing campaign. So I thought my best bet is if it's very colorful and youthful and sort of jumps out on shelf. And so that was my goal, to create something that would stand out amongst the sort of pirate galleon ship brands that are out there.
Well, it's certainly eye-catching. And so, you know, like, what do you think, what could the drinkers expect when they first take a sip of the rum?
Yeah, so I like to say that Kasama is the taste of the tropics. The goal is really to, you know, to transport you to a beautiful beach in Palawan through, you know, one sip of rum. And we really tried to capture the sort of the joy of the Philippines in the rum, and also a lot of tropical notes. So should we start tasting the rum?
Yeah.
I think it'd be good if we could start tasting, so that everybody, maybe people could share what they, certainly we have tasting notes, and I'll be very happy to share what I taste, but everybody's a little bit different. So I'd love to hear what notes you guys are tasting in the rum.
All right, let's invite everyone, take out your Kasama Rum. Let's do our first pour. Okay, smell it. Smells lovely. Yeah, there. I'm like halfway through my bottle.
I'm a good way through my bottle, but yeah, I'd love to hear from some of you about what notes you're tasting.
I don't know if this is how you describe a rum, but to me, it's very smooth.
That is a great way to describe it, and that was intentional. We really wanted a rum that you could sip neat, as well as being a great base for tropical cocktails. So we did try to have to create a rum that was smooth and easy to sip.
Pineapple, vanilla, coconut. Hi, Alexandra. Forgive me, but I'm not a connoisseur of.
That's okay.
Pineapple, vanilla, and coconut.
Oh wow, you really hit the nail on the head. So what I taste, and sort of the official tasting notes of Kasama are pineapple, vanilla, coconut's a new one. I get more of like a banana, a little bit of a banana. And also I taste some saltiness as well, which I really love because it reminds me of the ocean, but also because it sort of cuts through the sweetness. I think a lot of rums people think, oh, rum is going to be super, super sweet. And so we wanted something that was not going to be too sweet, but a little bit light. Anybody else?
We have some comments on the chat. There's Val Lasso. It's very sweet and smooth. The pineapple is very distinct. Yeah.
Yes. Strong pineapple notes.
Rogi also said pineapple.
I notice it's citrusy. There's a citrus taste. I don't know if it's pineapple, but I guess it's close to it. But it's very citrusy. It's the first time I tasted rum like that. And I normally drink Bacardi and Tanduay. So this is interesting taste.
Thank you very much.
I like that it's not too overpowering. It's just a right blend of, as you said, tropics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good to hear that.
This might be a dumb question, but how do you get the pineapple notes in it?
It's just, we don't add anything. It's just sort of the notes from the sugarcane. You know, I like to think that it sort of was infused with the island vibes from the, you know, the fields and the distillery where it came from.
I was actually going to ask that question. Was the molasses where the molasses are sourced, is the plantation next to also a pineapple plantation that might have affected Yeah.
Not that I know of, but it's a big area, so I could double check that.
Do you have
Not that I know of, though.
the variety of sugarcane?
It's noble sugarcane. That's the type. I think something that's really interesting to note as well, which a lot of people don't know, is that sugarcane is actually native to Southeast Asia originally. So it's originally from Papua New Guinea, actually, and it came up through the Philippines to Asia, and then it was brought over to Europe, and only was brought to the Caribbean in the 1500s by colonizers. And so I think even though rum and sugarcane are very synonymous with the Caribbean, in fact, it has so much to do with our part of the world and our region. And so I think because sugarcane is native to our area and because we have such rich volcanic soil in the Philippines, that really contributes to this, this wonderful taste that we have. So, a lot of people don't know this, but sugarcane is actually from our region originally.
So Eric says vanilla is subtle. Usually Philippine rum is heavy on vanilla aftertaste. Sometimes even tastes like cough medicine.
Eric, I think I know which rum you're talking about, although I won't name them. Yeah, I think the cough syrup is certainly something we wanted to avoid. Nobody likes the taste of cough syrup, but so we actually, our rum is aged in ex-bourbon American oak barrels, and so that's where we get that note of vanilla. Bourbons often have a nice vanilla flavor profile to it, so that's where the vanilla in our rum comes from as well.
Alan says, I taste vanilla as well. And then Val said, the banana, she tastes banana. It's an aftertaste.
Yeah, so people are usually in one of two camps. So I'm definitely in the pineapple camp, but I do taste a lot of people who tell me that they have more of a banana flavor profile to it. I don't taste that as much. I do taste notes of it, but for me, it's definitely pineapple forward. But that is certainly a tasting note that a lot of people notice.
And then Raji says, I agree with the vanilla. It is a delicious rum. It will probably taste good if I pour it on vanilla ice cream.
That sounds delicious. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm going to have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. So before we go on our first cocktail exercise, I'm going to teach you a little bit of Tagalog word. So if you're going to be drinking with your friends, one word to remember is the word tagay. So it's not exactly cheers in Filipino, but it's what you say when you're pouring drink to your friends, to your kasama. So tagay, you say like tagay ng rum, or pour some rum. So that's what we say, tagay. So yeah, so that's like Filipino word for the day. And now we're gonna be doing a simple cocktail courtesy of Alexandra. So she's gonna show us some cocktails that she likes to do with the Kasama Rum. So she's just setting up
bar area that I found here at this bar. So I will first off start off by saying I am not a bartender. I actually took bartending classes in college, but it was so hard that I dropped out. So I really tried to focus today on recipes that are super simple that anybody can do at home. So I think first of all, we're going to start out with a daiquiri. You guys all got calamansi in your boxes, which is my favorite citrus in the world. And I like to call it a Filipino daiquiri, which is what you guys are going to be making. I'm in Sweden, as we said before, so I don't have any calamansi. So unfortunately, I have to just do a classic daiquiri with lime juice. But I'm going to try to demonstrate to you guys. So a daiquiri is one of like the most basic cocktails. It's often referred to as the bartender's handshake because that's sort of how fundamental it is to bartending culture. So it's just 2 parts of Kasama Rum, and then 1 part lime juice, and then half a part simple syrup, which is just, I think you guys all got simple syrup in your boxes, but it's basically just sugar that you dissolve in water. So I'm going to use this shot glass as my measuring.
Alexandra, could you repeat the recipe?
Yes, so it's 2 parts Kasama Rum, 1 part lime juice or calamansi juice, and then half a part simple syrup. And so I have this little shaker here. Let's see how this goes, guys. So I'm putting ice in my shaker. And if you guys don't have a shaker at home, you can just like stir it. It's also fine. I like to get a little bit frothy. So we're gonna do 2 parts of rum. Get that in there. And then we're gonna do 1 part of lime juice. And then half of the simple syrup.
Alexandra, I have a question. If we have the calamansi, how much calamansi do we use?
Well, so sort of 1 shot glass of calamansi juice. I love calamansi, but what I hate about it is that because they're so small, they're so hard to squeeze. You have to squeeze so many of them. Okay, so I'm now gonna give this a shake. And pop this over. If any bartenders are actually watching, they're going to be horrified by my lack of skills, but I'm a home bartender. Okay. And then I'm just going to strain this into my glass. I don't really know how that works. Okay, let's try it this way. Turns out I made the world's smallest drink. So if you guys want to sort of double the recipe, that's something that you can do as well. You could do like 4 shot glasses of Kasama, 2 of lime juice, and then 1 of simple syrup if you want to make it bigger than this guy. But it is delicious, so that was the goal. I'm gonna migrate back to my chair. Has anybody made a daiquiri before? I think everybody's quiet because they're focusing. They're sort of diligently squeezing calamansi.
Yeah, it's so fun to do it. So Rose has a question. Is it best to drink it cold or room temperature?
It is, honestly, it's whatever is your preference. You know, I don't try to tell people how they should drink it. I think it's just however you enjoy it. So I love drinking at room temperature, actually. Oh, Val thinks it's delicious. Thank you so much. So you can drink it room temperature. You can drink it on ice, or of course you can make it into a cocktail. I think it's however you enjoy it. Sometimes I like to drink it room temperature and just add a little bit of water just to bring the proof down and just make it a little bit more sippable. So that's also an option for everyone.
This is delicious, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
In a splash of soda water, just because it's like, it is kind of sweet.
Yeah, great idea. Love that. I do love adding a little bit of water to all my cocktails. I do think it just makes it just a little bit less potent. So I think that's a great idea. Oh, I see Martha is shaking vigorously. Sorry to put you on the spot. I just really appreciated your shaking.
I love like super icy drinks, so.
Yes, me too.
Alan said, super syrup, waiting for the amats to hit.
What is amats?
Alan, what is amats? Where's Alan?
Amats is you know, you play with the words in Tagalog. It's tama.
Oh.
Right? It's when you drink the alcohol when it starts to hit you.
Got it.
Amats.
I don't speak Tagalog, unfortunately. My mom never taught it to me. I'm still very upset about it. So you guys are going to have to help me with the translations.
Roger said yum.
Yum.
And yeah. Val said, Val's wanted to take it a notch up. We added coconut waters to ours.
Love that. That actually sounds really interesting. I have to try that.
Yeah. So
It sounds like a whole new cocktail.
Just going back to some of the comments that we missed, like Alan said, I taste the vanilla in the rum. Raji, I agree with the vanilla. And then Paul said, I'm turning red as usual when drinking alcohol. Michelle says, she tastes a bit of caramel. And Grace said, I love baking. I can put kasama in my baked goods.
Yes, I actually just received, I get a lot of messages on Instagram. So some chefs have put it in, somebody made a banana cake recently and they sort of coated it in Kasama Rum. Somebody has a chocolate company in the US making Filipino chocolate. So maybe hopefully that's something that will take off as well, chocolate from the Philippines. And they made a special edition one with Kasama Rum where they sort of steep the chocolate in the rum for a few days before producing the bars. So that's something I really look forward to trying as well. I do think it's really good for baked goods and sweets and things like that.
Yeah. Speaking of chocolate, some of our participants got La Costa chocolate. So they ordered this hand-painted chocolate from one of our Filipino artists based here in Hawaii. So some of them might be enjoying this with chocolates. Some of them also might be enjoying it with dried mangoes / dried pineapple that we included in the box. So we hope that you enjoy the extra sweets that we added into your box.
There's a question from Facebook. Is Kasama available at Seafood City? No, not yet. It's so funny that you ask. Honestly, getting into Seafood City is like a huge goal of mine. I grew up going to shop there with my mom in California, and I have been trying for the last few months to get into Seafood City, and I haven't succeeded yet. So if any of you know somebody at Seafood City or want to go to your local Seafood City and ask them, I'm trying so hard. We're actually in touch. I just sent them a sample, so hopefully soon. But if anybody has a special connection at Seafood City, I'd love to hear about that.
We're gonna make it happen together with the help of Eric, our trade commissioner in Los Angeles.
Eric he introduced me, and so finally they responded to my email. So we haven't made it in yet, but we're on our way slowly.
Chef Joey Makadangdang has a question. Any distributor here in Hawaii for me to use in my new restaurant?
Yes.
I like to feature them as one of our drinks. Chef Joey Makadangdang is opening up a new restaurant in Maui. It's called Makadangdang, and we're so excited for it. So where can you get?
To hear that. Yes, so we are distributed across the country and in Hawaii through Southern Glaciers Wine and Spirits. And so Chef, you'll be able to get it. Definitely, Southern is the biggest distributor in the country, so certainly you'll be working with them, I'm sure. And then to sort of the regular population, you can get it at Tamura's. All Tamura's locations in Hawaii carries it, which is so exciting for me. I know it's a really important chain in Hawaii. And we also have a few other locations. So if you go to our website, if you go to kasamarum.com/find us, we put all of our accounts in there. My mom is I call her my unpaid intern. She's so diligent with helping me. And she's the one who actually inputs all the restaurants and stores into our website. So every Monday we get our sales report with all of our new accounts, and I send it to my mom, and she's so cute. She puts in every single one. So it's updated very regularly. So you can find all accounts in Hawaii and across the country through kasamarum.com/find us.
Yeah, so to all of the people watching this via Facebook Live, please go to your Tamura store and get the rum, try it. We highly recommend it. It's super good. And
I think that Andrea is best friends with her local Tamura's. sales associates at this point. She's there a lot.
Yeah, like I go to the Tamuras at Kaneohe, and the people there, the sales ladies there, they absolutely love the rum, and they're like selling it to everyone. So
Great to hear.
yeah, you have some advocates here, and that really means that the rum is really resonating with a lot of folks, especially women. It's really something that relates to me. Like just looking at the packaging, it's like super pretty, and for the taste, it's something that I don't expect from an alcohol. Like usually when I drink alcohol, I would taste the alcohol and I would say, I don't really like drinking this. But with this one, just look at this. It's like half the bottle already. So I like to drink it before I go to sleep. It's so relaxing. It calms me down.
Love that.
MJ is saying Astor Wines and Spirits in New York City has that.
Yes. That's super exciting for me. For those of you who spend a lot of time in New York, you definitely know Astor Wine and Spirits. It's a very, very important account. And also I used to live in New York, quite close to there. So for me, it was, I felt so happy and proud to have my product there. It's really a fantastic account. Really, you know, they focus on all the sales associates there really know their stuff about alcohol. They all taste them. So I was very happy when Kasama made it in there.
That's
I think I'm going to quickly show you guys how to make the second cocktail. I don't even know if you can call this a cocktail because it's just like the easiest, simplest cocktail you'll ever see. This is actually how I started drinking Kasama during quarantine, because as evidenced by my shaking, I am not a bartender. So this is how I drink it at home oftentimes. So I have coconut water. I'm just going to add a little bit of ice to my coconut water. And then I just add a splash of Kasama rum. So that's literally it. I call it the Island Fresca. It's really meant to be something that you can sip on a daily basis. It's easy to do. It doesn't take any special skills. And you can sort of put as much or as little rum as you'd like. So cheers, guys. It's very, very nice to meet you. Thank you all so much for spending your Saturday evening with me, and cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone. Wow. This is so refreshing. And I could, yeah, literally drink this every day.
Not recommended, but some days, yes. No, but when I was in, I was in quarantine in Poland, as we all were, sitting at home and unable to go out. And this is sort of how I would lift my moods in the evening, as I would take Kasama rum and experiment. So some of my other, I call them 2-ingredient cocktails. So some of my other favorites are Kasama rum and pineapple juice, Kasama rum and lemonade or limeade, something like that, which is sort of, kind of a shortcut to a daiquiri. You guys live in a beautiful tropical paradise, so you have probably tropical fruits all the time. I love to blend up pineapple, not pineapple, although that would work too, watermelon. If you have watermelon, if you just blend it up quickly and you throw in some Kasama, that is one of my favorite drinks. Although, in Northern Europe, we don't have access to watermelons all the time, unfortunately, but highly recommend that you guys try that and let me know how it goes.
Yeah, that's going to be the next recipe for my cocktail.
Yes, it's so good. And then you can add just like a little squeeze of lemon or lime. So delicious.
Let's hear it from our audience. What do you think about the cocktails?
I like it. I like the coconut. I was just wondering, would it be also as good if you just had it with, with Coke, rum and Coke? And
yeah, that is a very, very classic rum cocktail, rum and Coke. Go for it. Honestly, I think it's, like I said before, it's however you enjoy it. There's no right or wrong way.
The coconut one is super refreshing, and it kind of floats almost on top of the coconut water, so it's this nice gradient. Also, since there's so much coconut water, you can't get a hangover from it because coconut water.
You're hydrating at the same time.
That's right.
It gives you an excuse. Like coconut water is healthy, so you're
It's
drinking
super
something healthy. So Rose M has a comment. Watermelon sounds great. So if you have a chance tomorrow, go to your grocery store, grab some watermelon, blend it, and try it with your Kasama Rum on Sunday. Palm Sunday. Yeah, that would be fun. Roji has a comment. It's nice and refreshing. I have to write a report tonight, and it should make it a more exciting process.
Agree. When I was in college, I was an international relations major, so all I did was write essays. And when I had a lot of writer's block, I would have a little drink, and I feel like it helps to make me at least more creative. So Raji, I hope that this helps you writing your report tonight.
Yeah. Anyone wants to share their thoughts? What you think about Kasama Rum?
I'll say, yeah, Alec, this is really good. I'm enjoying both drinks. Definitely this, I would even drink this every day, quite honestly, with the coconut and the rum. So it's really good. So is there, I know this is a 7-year. Are you guys labeling any other years or what? This is already good. I'm just asking if you guys are doing any others.
So thank you for the question. We're definitely thinking about it. I would love to come out with more, more versions of Kasama, whether that be an older rum or, for example, a white rum, which is also great for making cocktails. I sometimes think about doing like a ready to drink cocktail. Those are really popular now, in a can. And I already have a vision in my mind of what it would look like. So I definitely think that this is a brand that we could expand into other years and other products. But we just came out, we sort of soft launched in September of 2020. We had our official launch just in February. So I need to work on this one a little bit more, get this one out a little bit more. But certainly it's something that we're thinking about for the future.
Yeah, no, thanks. That's good. And the other comment I wanted to say was, I think, as you drink, normally you'll drink a cocktail before a meal and open up the palate and all that stuff. I think this is good all throughout the meal. I think you can drink it right before. You can drink, like Alan said, maybe drink it with a rum and Coke or something like that. And then even enjoy it with your meal, or even as an after drink meal, because it's that, it fits that element. And even with your dessert, in fact, it could, somebody mentioned earlier. So I think it fits all throughout. So good job.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's very versatile. I would have to agree. Like it's so good. Like you could have it as a starter. One of the comments here on Facebook from Lureline Joan Adarna. I think it's also good for Caesar salad. So yeah. Like,
wow. I never thought about rum and Caesar salad, but I'm glad that they work well together.
Yeah, and as Consul Grace mentioned, it's gonna be good with like desserts too. There's a question from Tyler. So he's asking, where do you get the sugarcane? Is there any specific region in the Philippines you get them?
It's mostly sourced from Luzon. So that's where the distillery is. So the sugarcane comes from the area around the distillery.
And but Paul has a comment. I'm thinking to try it with club soda, something with bubbles.
I love that. I think club soda or sparkling water works nicely with so many drinks or so many spirits. It really helps to sort of open it up. It's super light. I would just say, maybe squeeze some lime in there. I love lime and Kasama or calamansi, of course, if you have it. Sounds delicious.
MJ.
What is yakiniku?
Yakiniku. Grace, can you talk a little bit more about yakiniku?
Oh my God, I'm so jealous. What is that?
Oh, they're having like food. Oh, wow. They're literally having a party over there. I'm like
literally
so
having a party. That looks so fun.
Oh, yakiniku is a Japanese barbecue meat.
So delicious. I've been looking at Grace's screen the whole time, sort of jealously. Whatever they're cooking looks so delicious. So
Yeah.
We don't have, I live in Poland and we don't have any Filipino food there, as you might imagine. So I always sort of dream of Filipino food, or even just good Asian food, really. So yakiniku sounds amazing. There's also a question, are we selling in the Philippines? We're actually not selling in the Philippines. We get a lot of questions. I would love to bring Kasama to the Philippines, because we actually bring the rum to Poland and it's bottled at my family's distillery. We would have to re-import it into the Philippines, and they're really, really high import taxes. So we're not there yet. We're thinking about maybe, you know, bottling it in the Philippines to be able to sell it there, but we don't have that worked out yet. So not in the Philippines just yet, but I really hope to get there soon. I get so many messages from the Philippines.
MJ said yes to an older rum. Sounds exciting. Even other types of casks, you could, are you even using other types of casks for maturation?
Yep, that's also something that we're thinking about.
Val said, it's great. I'll definitely add this as a staple to my home bar. I'm excited to come up with more recipes to mix this up with. Let's keep in touch.
Awesome. We also have a bunch more recipes on our website. If you go to kasamarum.com, there's a recipe tab. And those are recipes that I love to make kasama with. And also I try to make things that are fairly easy. So you don't have to be a experienced mixologist to make those recipes. There's a question from Paul. Is there a specific reason for bottling in Poland versus the Philippines? Yes. So when I initially thought of Kasama, I obviously thought, you know, we would bottle it in the Philippines and then send it to US. It actually ended up being easier to ship the rum to Poland, where we can sort of control the process. And actually all the packaging is actually sourced in Europe as well. All the best packaging comes from Europe. So it was easier to send just the rum from Poland, from the Philippines to Poland, rather than, you know, all the packaging elements from Poland to the Philippines. A little fun fact about this bottle: this was my first time I designed a product all by myself, and or sort of came up with it all by myself. This packaging is an absolute nightmare to make. The leaves are actually printed on the bottle, and then there's like a little window that's left, and then we hand apply these 3 labels. So on the front, on the back, and on the neck. So it's very, very labor intensive. And we, you know, at our family's distillery, we're really, really good at sort of hand applications and things like that. So I really wanted to have it in-house and watch it instead of sending it to the Philippines and having somebody else that I didn't know, you know, assembling this. So that's why it's easier to send one thing one way than, you know, the label, the bottle, the caps, the boxes, everything the other way.
The bottling is amazing. Like, it looks like it's hand painted, you know, it's like,
yes,
has that character to it. Like, you feel like it's something that's handmade, like the stickers, it feels like someone like pasted that. So
yeah,
I really feel like it's like special.
Thank you. I mean, it's really, the response to the packaging has really been fantastic, and I'm so happy about that. But I think, oh, if I could go back, I would make a simpler package that doesn't require so much hand labeling next time.
Rose said, great job on labeling, packaging, overall branding is beautiful. It's very special.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear that.
So there's also a comment from Eric. So you can look into bottling from the Philippines, as you may get the US GSP privileges in the future. So if you're not familiar, there's a US general system of preferences that are given to products that are manufactured in the Philippines. So if you bottle it in the Philippines and it's labeled as made in the Philippines, it could actually go to the US duty-free. So that's something that you can look
Very
at.
interesting, Eric. Thank you for this tip. I will definitely be emailing you to learn more about this. Thank you so much.
And,
so my family has a distillery in Poland. What else do you produce? So we are the producers of Chopin vodka. I don't know if any of you guys are vodka drinkers, but Chopin is the world's first luxury vodka. It's actually distilled from potatoes at our family's distillery. We even farm in some instances. My dad he's super creative. He loves to dream up new and interesting products. So he farms special types of potatoes that aren't commercially available and sort of experiments with that. He launched Chopin vodka and Belvedere vodka in the United States in the early 90s, together with a business partner. So we're no longer involved with Belvedere, but he was really instrumental in sort of creating the luxury vodka category. There were no super premium vodkas in the early 90s before. So, you know, we can now rattle off many, many luxury vodkas, but they're really all copies of the two brands that he launched way back when. And so Chopin vodka is one of the only vodkas in the world that's actually, well, first of all, it's the only Polish vodka that's still owned by a Polish family. It's one of the only brands in the world that actually has a distillery and makes the vodka from scratch, from raw ingredients. Most vodkas are not made that way. So we are very, very passionate about our craft. We love experimenting with different different ingredients. Like I said, we're barrel aging vodka now, we're experimenting with that. So my love of this industry really comes from my dad, who's so passionate about what he does. So do please look out for Chopin vodka. I think we should also be available at Tamura's in Hawaii.
Nice. And I'm pretty sure that you're going to be making something amazing with Kasama Rum. It's going to be a category on its own.
Thank you.
We're like so excited for Kasama Rum, and we're so happy that they're now available in Tamura's, where we could easily buy them here in Hawaii. So unfortunately, we ran out of time. Wow, that's like an hour already. Such an amazing conversation, and we're so happy that you could join us, Alexandra. It's great to have you with us, and thank you for bringing Kasama Rum to the world. It's such a gift.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate that you came, honestly. You know, sometimes when I created Kasama, you make this thing up in your head and you think, is there anybody in the world who wants this thing that I created? So thank you guys so much for trying Kasama, for joining us today, for all of your questions. I'm so grateful to you guys for coming, and of course to Andrea for all of her efforts in putting this event together, and for Mina from CIH Events, who also helped to put together the boxes so that you guys could join us today. I'm so grateful. Please do follow us on Instagram. We're at kasamarum.com. You can also email me. My email address is alexandra@kasamarum.com. Would love to hear from any of you guys. So thank you so much.
A big mahalo and maraming salamat to all of you who joined us today, and also to Alexandra for hosting this amazing Kasama Rum virtual tasting. We still have 2 more events upcoming for our Women's Month celebration. We will have the Ideathon Demo Day on March 31 at 5 p.m., where we will be hearing project proposal from students on how to address gender issues in their schools or workplace. And at 7 p.m. on March 31, we will be capping off our month-long celebration of Women's Month with a musical called Himig ng Filipino, Voices of Love and Empowerment, featuring original Filipino music sung by Hawaii artists. This event is a tribute to all our women frontline workers who are in the forefront of our response to the pandemic. Again, maraming salamat po for joining us today, and we wish you a fine evening with your kasama. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, maraming salamat po. Thank you so much for joining. Nice to meet you all.
Mahalo, maraming salamat. Cheers.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
You want to take a picture?
Yeah, let's do that. All right. Put up your glasses. Let's have some toast. Okay. All right. All right, folks. 1, 2, 3. Cheers. Cheers. Oops. There. Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.